Hi everyone. So let's discuss the first topic of manual testing. What is software development lifecycle? The short form we call it SDLC, software development lifecycle. So from the name itself, you can see that life cycle. What is the life cycle when you develop a software? What are the different phases it need to go through? Like if I ask you what is the life cycle of a human being? So what you can see? First human being when born, he will be kid. Okay, then you can say teenager, that time he will spend most of the time in playing and all, and then study also. Then the young age where he or she will be in college, then he need to more focus on his career, what he to be, which career he need to choose and all, right? So next phase is working, where he should work, what career path he should choose, how he should work and all. Then next phase is he will getting married and all these things, family planning. Then next is the old age, where he need to figure it out, how he need to spend his rest of his life. So this is the life cycle of a human being. Same way, software development life cycle means, if I give you some software, I told you like I need a website where I can order some product. Please develop it. What are the different phases you need to go? What are the different phases, different life cycle of this software? While developing the software, what are the different stages you need to go? It is nothing but software development life cycle. This is an it is called as SDLC. Okay. So if I more talk about it, let's see, let me say I am going to Google, I am typing SDLC. See, SDLC is a process of following in a software project within the software organization. It consists of different phases like development. If I go to the images also, you can see a lot of images, and you can see there is a little bit different also in different life cycle. So people explain in different way. But the basic thing is this, you can say software development lifecycle. First one is requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, and deployment. Okay, so these are the different phases of software development. So I can say first phase is requirement analysis. Okay, requirement analysis. In this phase, what we are going to do? We need to collect all the requirement. All the requirement means, I told you, okay, design a web page for me. For example, I am from some bank, XYZ bank. I told you, please design a web page for me. So you need to know, right, how the home page should look like. What are the functionality should be there? What are the things you need to implement? So all these things you need. So all these things should be there in the requirement analysis. So you have to analyze all the requirement. Now, how you will get all the requirement? It can be in some proper documented format. That is called requirement analysis doc or requirement doc. Right? So customer should mention each and everything in the requirement doc. What are their requirements? What are the things you need to implement? What are the functionality you need to do? Right? In all the banks web page, it's not the same. Like if you see SBI and all, you can't do online fixed deposit and all, but in HDFC you can do. So requirements are different. They have not yet supported online fixed deposit in SBI. But in the HDFC, you can perform online fixed deposit, you can withdraw the money and all these things you can do. So requirements are different. So you have to analyze what is the requirement to develop this software. How many pages will be there? Home page, what are the links will be there in the home page? Then once you log in, what are the options will be there? Whether the menu should display in the left side of the page or it will be in the top of the page. How it will be, how the page will be. So all these things are nothing but the requirement, correct? So first phase is requirement analysis, where you need to know what is your requirement, what are the things you need to develop, what are the things you need to check, what are the functionalities will be available. So these are called requirement analysis phase. In requirement analysis phase, all the keyword dev, everyone need to go through the requirement thoroughly. And first they need to try to understand, then they need to understand what will be the requirement, what is the requirement that customer requires. I mean, how they want to develop the software, how it will look like, what will be the color, everything. Where they want login button, they want it in the top of the page or bottom of the page. What will be the color of that button? What are the different functionalities? This is called requirement analysis. After requirement analysis, the next phase is design phase. In this, they have to design the software. They have to design it properly. So in the design phase, there are two design. One is high level design and one is low level design. In the high level design, they are going to decide, which server they are going to use, what Tomcat server, whether they are going to use Tomcat server or not, what databases they are going to use, what will be the relationship between different tables and all. They are going to define all these high level things in the design phase. And in the low level design, they will go through the details of each and every design, high level design, and they will define it properly. Okay, so first of all, requirement analysis. Once requirement is clear with everyone, then they will start designing the software. Okay, what will be the client server relationship, how many servers will be required, where they will put all the business logic, what database will be available, okay, how the data will be stored, what are the different tables will be available. All these things they are going to define in the design phase. First is requirement analysis, then design. Once the design is done, then they are going to do the coding. So make sure design is very important phase. Coding is nothing, anyone can write the code. But problem with the design, if there is any issue with the design phase, your whole project may go for a toss. Okay, so you should be very careful while designing the software. Once the design is done, then developer will start writing the code and they are going to build it. Once the coding is done, after coding, testing phase comes up. Where all the QA people will get involved, they will test all the software thoroughly. Okay, so in the requirement analysis, QA guys also will have need to analyze what are the requirements and all. Then they have to check here whether all the requirements are done. Developers have done the software according to the requirements. So they are going to check all these things. Once requirement analysis everything, whether the everything is fine or not. If everything is, and then they are going to test all the functionality, like whether you should be able to log in or not in the software, whether it should not allow you to log in with the invalid user ID password. If you enter invalid user ID password in the login page, it should throw you an error message, like login is not successful, something like this. Okay, so this is called the design phase. So this is called the design phase. Correct. So sorry, this is called the testing phase. So the QA guys are going to test everything here. Okay, plus the functionality. If you enter invalid user ID password, it should tell you the error message that okay, user ID and password is wrong. So this is also your test case, right? This is also one of the functionality. They should have mentioned in the requirement, if the user enters wrong ID, wrong password, it should not allow you to log in. Right? After login, you need to check whether you are able to transfer the money or not. After you transfer the money, whether you are getting proper error message or not. The money has been transferred successfully, or it is deducting your account balance or not. So these are called testing. So you have to test everything. In case there is any issue, you have to raise a bug. It will go to the developer again. They will write the code. They will fix the bug again. It will come for you. You will check whether they have fixed it or not. Correct? Then you will close the bug. Once the testing is done, then release phase. You have to release the software, release into the market. So these are the 5 important things in any SDLC. First of all, requirement analysis, then design, then coding, then testing, finally is the release. You have to release the software into the market. Clear? So this is what is SDLC. Now inside testing phase, there is something called SDLC, software testing lifecycle. We will talk about it. Inside software testing lifecycle, there is something called bug lifecycle. We'll talk about it later. What is bug? What is error? I'm going to talk about it. Clear? What is SDLC? Software development lifecycle. First is requirement analysis, then design, then coding, then testing, then finally the release the software. So if you see also, if I Google it out, you can see all these phases. See requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, and deployment or release the software. If you see here also, I mean here also kind of same thing. You can say planning. Sometimes people write planning, analysis. Planning is nothing but you have to go through requirement, analyze it, and plan it how you have to do it. Then you have to do the design. Then implementation is nothing but coding. Then testing and integration. You have to do the testing and integrate it. All these things. Finally, maintenance or release. So kind of same thing you can see everywhere. So these are the different phases of SDLC. Okay, here you can see it's giving in different format. See requirement analysis, design, implementation, or nothing but coding, testing, then deployment and maintenance. Deployment means release. After release, we need to do some maintenance, right? So we have to do that maintenance. These are the different phases of SDLC. Clear? Thank you.